Financial literacy is supposedly improving, but look at the debt numbers. If you find this content amazing, please like, comment, make this guy go famous, please. The question for you, John, is do Canadians really understand money better now, or are we just making more sophisticated mistakes? Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I think that financial literacy has been moving up, generally speaking, and there are obviously, additional educational efforts to support that. I think really the debt crisis, and that nobody really has money, just in the first place doesn't really have a whole lot to do with what they know or don't know about money. And to be totally honest, one of the first things I learned from the CFA curriculum, for example, is that you can't even move the needle that much, if at all, on average, as an advisor, right? Now, with that said, the average advisor is kind of setting, in some respect, the idea of the market average, right? So, it might just be because of that, but when you think about your daily life, it's not like a lot of the things that happen to you. And when you say, like, for example, more sophisticated financial mistakes, is that you are making more sophisticated mistakes, or that these systems are getting more complicated in a way that continues to squeeze everyone a little bit more. And I'm inclined to think that. And then I'm also inclined to think that really the idea of, saying, oh, well, people aren't financially literate enough, as, for example, from Robert Kiyosaki, or I think that's his name, wrote his crappy book about being an idiot, frankly. And he insults poor people and says, oh, they don't learn money, and then blah, 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 makes all these mistakes. I think it's just copying the issues with lead poisoning, when lead poisoning had been occurring, and people were, saying that this is a big problem. And what did the corporations do? They blamed all these parents as bad parents. Your kids are getting lead poisoning because you're bad parents. You're not taking good enough care of them, right? So similar thing here. You guys are all in debt. You're all poor because you don't know about money. So I think that's what that is. I don't think, actually, to be honest, knowing a lot about money is necessarily going to make you wealthy, though I do think that there are things that are going to help you move the needle, right, and make things more comfortable. So, for example, understanding that your income and outcome at the end of your life in terms of total amount earned is correlated with the amount of debt that you take on for school, for example. So is it a problem that school is so expensive? Yes and no, but that knowledge can be useful.
Amazing. Thank you for the answer, John.
You're welcome.